Easy things I wish I knew before learning a full size advanced. To start off, we have our triple sledge case, and for a triple sledge case, it is where the two centers on the front swap and the two on the side swap oppositely. And what you do for that is a triple, three sledges, as the name suggests. But what you should know is for every single time you see this center pattern, you don't start off here, 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 here. You always start off here, where the top center has been swapped with, and that's where you should always start off. So let's say, for example, you have this case right here. You will always start off here and then end up into a triple sledge, I mean a double sledge case, and that's how you would do that part. Secondly, for all of your algs, you shouldn't be doing more than 5 sledges, and generally a lot of them don't take 5 sledges, so you would know if you don't have the most optimal solution if your solution takes more than 5 sledges and hedges. Moving on, whenever you have this case where this center is connected with this line, you always do your status intermediate to solve it. The only time you don't do that is the edge perm cancel case, where you cancel into your edge perm, because this case gives you an edge perm. So what you should recognize in this is the centers on the side are solved, and you go to the opposite side from this, which is right here, and you do if like a hedge here with all the corners. So you would do a sledge, rotate to the back, and if you did a sledge here, you do a hedge here, and vice versa. So a hedge, if you did a hedge there, a sledge, and that solves the cube. Apart from that, all of your cases, like let's say this case right here, you would still go do the standard intermediate, and that will leave you into the most optimal alg. And how you should know you're gonna get a Z perm rather than some U perm is when you have no stalled or opposite sides on all of the sides, right? And so there's none of these are solved, none of these are opposite, and so you know there's none of your centers are going to be either opposite or solved, and that just automatically tells you that you're gonna get a case like that. Moving on, we have our cases where you set up a triple sledge, and so say something like that, right? Where you have these two center swapping, these two center swapping. In that, you never start off here, but you always start off either here, 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 or here. Uh, like not here on top, out of these three sides, and never start off on this stall side. And that's important to know. No matter what your corner orientation is, you always start off somewhere here to get the most optimal case. Moving on, for the peanut cases, not whenever you have these two corners facing the top, and don't have your yellow top center, like here our top center is yellow, and you don't have that on the upper side, you know that you are gonna start adjacent to this. Another thing you should know is that you would never start off at any opposite sides, or if you have any solved side, you never start off there. So basically by side I mean the centers. So opposite center you don't start off there, or a solved center. So I don't have a solved center in this case, but if you do have one, in that case you know you aren't going to start there. And so what these all these tips are used for is first recognition and learning these the algs faster, and second of all, let's I'll show you something. So I'm just randomly scrambling it up, and I made the layer back up. And what I knew was I'm not gonna start off at any opposite centers. And what I notice here is it's two centers corners facing the top. The top center is down, and you have two opposite centers. And cause I know I have to start adjacent, either I start here or here, and not at an opposite spot. So I start off here, a sledge into a sledge. I know I'll always do a sledge here because the sides aren't solved, and because you see that these two need to swap and these two need to swap, the triple sledge case, you know that's going to solve the cube. And generally, you should know all the double sledge cases, but overall, after that, you should be learning like your all of your cases based on these few cases in the start. Now, moving on, one final tip that I wanted to give y'all was how you should recognize cases like this. These where, like, say for example, you only learned your alg from here and not how to do this in Sars intermediate from here. And so for whenever you have your top center, like your yellow center, not on the upper face, and you should like visualize for now. Later it should become automatic. Is like, let's go here where these two corners are facing towards me, and we'll kind of draw an imaginary line through this spot, and let's think of like these two sides as hemispheres. So this is our right hemisphere, left hemisphere. Whenever you're near the right hemisphere corner, you do a sledge. For these cases, wherever you're near this one, you do a hedge. And so you should know all of that, because that allows you to easily like know whether you're gonna be doing a sledge or a hedge, and later on this should be automatic. And the same thing, but if you have your top center on the upper face like this, and the two corners facing on top, this you can visualize it the same way, but the rules are opposite. So this is the right hemisphere, and I do a hedge rather than a sledge. And that's basically all my tips on how you should learn the Saracen Advanced Alex set, and that will allow you to speed up a lot faster. And generally, especially if you're thinking of going into NS, especially at least for the bad essay cases, which I highly recommend, it's good to quickly learn your stars advanced like this, because all the other algs are really easy and straightforward to learn. And basically that will allow you to recognize cases and learn how to recognize that, which is helpful for EG and NS. And so right here, like, you should after you're done doing SARS Advanced, you should do a lot of solves, at least become sub 5, and start like recognizing every case really fast without thinking. And that should allow you to be able to smoothly transition into NS, which is a little bit harder to recognize because you need to exactly remember what case it is, but that helps you a lot. And so that's it. That's my tips on how to learn SARS Advanced.